All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the deep end of siding cost. Because, let's be honest, what's written on your initial quote is almost never what you actually end up paying. If you've ever opened a contractor's final invoice and felt completely ambushed, trust me, you are not alone. So let's tear down some of these pricing myths. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with that initial sticker shock, uncover the hidden iceberg of labor and house geometry, and then finally, we'll equip you with exactly how to get a transparent, bulletproof number for your project.
Starting off with Section 1, the initial siding cost and the baseline numbers.
Now you might be wondering, why on earth is the actual siding material the smallest line item on your quote? It's the ultimate question, right? Homeowners see the staggering gap between what they thought they'd pay and the actual bill, and it just doesn't seem to add up.
Look at these baseline numbers for Ontario. We're talking about 5 to 18 Canadian dollars a square foot. You've got your standard vinyl and polymer shakes on the lower end, engineered wood sitting in the middle, and then steel and fiber cement topping it out. But here is the massive catch we found. These bands, they literally only cover the cladding itself, going onto an already prepared, perfectly flat wall.
Which brings us right into Section 2, why invoices actually grow right below the surface. Get this. The research highlights a real-world case study out of Newmarket involving a roughly 2,000 square foot re-clad. Amazingly, the final invoice landed a whopping 68% higher than the initial quoted rate. It spiked from $750 to $1,262 a square foot. Insane, right?
But the wild part is, it wasn't some sketchy contractor trying to upsell. The price jumped because of hidden, absolutely non-negotiable costs. The Ontario Building Code actually mandates things like water-resistive barriers, like Tyvek wrap. Add in the tear-off of the old siding, base flashing, and a mandatory 10% waste allowance, and that prep work alone tacked on nearly $8,000 to the job. It turns out the cheapest quote is usually just the quote that conveniently forgot all the prep work.
Moving on to Section 3. Geometry changes everything, because house shape really matters. This perfectly illustrates the trap of quoting based on your interior floor area. Picture two homes. Both have exactly 1,800 square feet of living space, but one is an L-shaped two-story and the other is a simple bungalow. That two-story needs over 2,500 square feet of siding, while the bungalow only needs about 1,600. That is 56% more cladding. With the exact same material on the exact same street, house geometry alone creates an over $6,000 difference.
So how do you actually figure out your true wall area? There are 5 precise steps for a proper takeoff. Measure the perimeter at grade, multiply by the wall height per story, add in the gables, those triangular bits, subtract your windows and doors, and finally, do not skip step 5. Always add 10% for cut and waste, unless you enjoy running out of materials mid-job. If you've got a really complex roofline, you might even need to bump that allowance up to 15%.
Okay, Section 4, supply versus installed costs, or what we're calling the labor factor.
The gap between just buying materials on a pallet and having a crew actually put them on your wall is pretty staggering. Take natural quarried stone. It needs a highly skilled mason, so labor eats up a massive 60% of your final invoice. On the flip side, polymer panels fasten mechanically, keeping labor down to just 26%. Basically, if you compare a supply cost found online to a contractor's installed quote, you're making a very expensive mathematical error.
Section 5. The 30-year true cost. Let's flip the script entirely.
When you stretch this out and change the unit to dollars per year over 3 decades, the whole ranking turns upside down. Engineered wood might look cheaper to install initially than steel, but check out the 30-year cost per square foot, per year. Steel sits at exactly 50 cents. Engineered wood jumps right past it to 58 cents, and fiber cement suddenly spikes to become the absolute most expensive at 70 cents.
And here's the why behind that flip. Materials like real cedar or engineered wood look absolutely stunning on day one, but they will quietly drain your wallet down the road. Repainting runs up to $4.50 per square foot. Over 30 years, fiber cement and engineered wood are going to need at least 2 full repaints. That adds almost $20 a square foot in maintenance alone. Meanwhile, zero-maintenance steel completely rewrites the pricing hierarchy just by never needing a paintbrush. It's a total game changer.
Finally, Section 6, getting your real number and actually comparing those quotes. If you're staring at 2 quotes and they're 10 grand apart, run through this checklist. I promise you'll find the truth in under an hour.
Make sure both contractors measured the exact same net wall area. Separate the field rate from the prep work. Find out who is actually paying for that 10% waste. Demand that accessories are priced out by name, not just dumped into a lump sum. And always, always factor in that 30-year maintenance schedule.
Honestly, to bypass this whole guessing game entirely and just get a transparent, real-world supply number for your project, head over to promaterials.ca. You can buy everything you need right there online. Better yet, go visit their warehouse. They're located at Unit 5, 1235 Journey's End Circle, right in Newmarket, Ontario. You can bring your sketches directly to the team, calculate your true takeoff, and get accurate pricing on the whole shebang, from the panels down to the trim.
So, I'll leave you with this to chew on as you review your next quote. Are you falling for the myth of the base rate and just buying the cheapest wall for today? Or are you ready to calculate the true cost of the iceberg, so you don't accidentally finance an incredibly expensive wall for the next 30 years? The choice and the math is now totally in your hands.